Hey guys, Matty231 here. I just finished recording the video for my 221 E600 that you guys can go and watch on my channel. And yeah, don't worry, I haven't smashed into the shelving yet. There it looks like I have, but I haven't. So yeah, that review is more just a little overview as such, more than a review of the interior of the car. But it's a long car, it literally only just fits in the garage. This is the facelift model. It's a JDM, so Japanese import, with the AMG 18-inch wheels and the Avant-Garde S package, which is basically the AMG package. Now, we'll hop in, because this is sort of like an overview of the car from the interior anyway. Now this car's got the 5.5 litre M273 engine, and it really is an amazing car. Like, I've owned this for now 6 months. This model I bought had only 62,000 Ks on it. So I've already done like 13,000 Ks just because I love driving it. It's such a nice car to drive. I had beforehand, and you can go and watch the video on it, the 212 E63, 2013 E63 with the awesome M175, M157, correct, I can't remember bloody codes, 5.5 litre bi-turbo AMG engine. And to be honest, like, if you guys can't afford that sort of money at the moment, not that they're really expensive nowadays, but if you still can't afford it, these cars are brilliant. Like, I've had this car 6 months, coming from an E63, and I love this car. I think this car in some aspects is actually better than the E63 I had. Now, you can call me crazy or whatever, I don't care, but honestly, I love this car. I think it looks awesome. It really looks like a true Mercedes. It's just got that sort of elegant prestige sort of front end with the nice oval headlights, dual headlights, and the nice big chrome grille. And obviously I love the older Mercedes with the actual stars on the front. I'm just a bit of a sort of brand whore, you could say. I love polishing it up, making it shine. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at here is this car's a brilliant car. If you can't afford a newer one, get a 211. Get a 211 that is a facelift. This model is a facelift, obviously. It's a 2006, so it's pretty much one of the first off the production line of the facelifted model. Now, as you probably may be aware, the initial models from 2002/3 had quite a lot of issues. So if you're going to buy one, buy a facelifted model. And the best way to distinguish the facelifted model is by the headlights. If you look at the headlights on the facelifted model, they've got three sort of fins in the top of the headlight where the indicator signal is. So that can help tell you whether that model is a facelift pretty much straight off the bat. Interior wise, I believe, you know, I haven't sat in a pre-facelift, so I don't know. I think they're all pretty much the same sort of vehicle anyway. So anyway, the fit and finish of this car is really good. It's just like every other Mercedes, very solid. It's a little more sort of compact than what I would have said my E63 was. So this model's still quite a compact car. It's sort of like comparable to the even the C-Class of today. You know, it's quite a small compact car, especially in comparison to the S600 that I've got in the garage here. That's a big car. And there wasn't a lot of features or that this car has that sort of is modern. Obviously it's a bit out of date now. It's just got the sort of standard stuff like your heated seats and your rear blind. If you've got an E55 or E63 W211 like this, you'll also probably have the seats, the multi-contour massaging seats with heating and cooling, so you'll have the extra little switch here for the cooling of the seat as well. But this Japanese model has rear blind, locking, unlocking. It's also got CD stacker for 6 discs. So if we fire her up, or at least turn on the electronics, we've got my music going here. You've got your 6 CD stacker. It's just hidden behind here, which is quite cool. You push that sucker there and this folds up and away you go. Now this is a Japanese car, so there's a lot of stuff that really doesn't work properly for us here in New Zealand, but that's the unfortunate sort of issue with imports. But the benefit is these cars are cheap. This car I paid 12,000 New Zealand dollars for with 62,000 Ks on the clock, and this is an 06 model. And really, 12 grand for this sort of car is fantastic, especially when I paid 75, 76, 77,000 for my E63, and I think this car in some cases is better than my E63 was. This is just value for money, mate, and this car is basically brand new. The good thing about Japanese owners is a lot of them don't really drive them much. Like, no one's been in the back of this really. All the seats, all the interior is literally mint. Absolutely mint. Nothing really is damaged or marked at all. The only part which is common on some of these generations is this part here is a little bit sticky, and as you can possibly see, I've been rubbing it off slowly with some sticky stuff remover, the technical term for it. Other than that though, there's literally nothing else I've really flawed on this car. It's pretty much mint. I've done only a handful of things to it so far, such as the idler pulley, the belt, and that's about it so far. The Japanese owner, I believe, replaced the front and possibly rear shocks as well, which was good. The car is equipped with Airmatic suspension, so basically you can raise and lower the vehicle as well as put it into different sport settings. So if I show you the control panel here for it, the E550 and the E63/E55, obviously if you have the pre-facelift, have this feature Airmatic suspension, and it's an awesome system. So you can raise the vehicle, it takes about 10 or 15 seconds. I feel like the car rises quicker when you're in motion. When you're at a stop though, it takes a bit longer to rise. And obviously you've got your, I can't remember the technical term, the technical Mercedes name for it now, but you basically got Airmatic suspension where you can put it into 2 sport modes. I think if I'm correct, the first time you push it, it lowers the car slightly. The second time you push it, I think it just firms up the actual dampers itself. I might be wrong, again I'm not 100% sure on it, but I believe that's how it works. So you can lower the car slightly, and if you really want it lowered you can put links in it, but I'm sort of a stock car guy, I don't like changing anything once I buy it. But yeah, you can raise and lower the car, and after you go 120 kilometers an hour roughly, the car will automatically lower, I believe, an inch or so to sort of keep the aerodynamics of the car stable, give you a lower center of gravity so you can sort of do those high speeds without sort of losing control, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, Airmatic, it's great, and the ride quality is so good. Like my E63 I had really was rough. It was a rough ride, and not horrible. Like I've had a 2014 STI, that was a real harsh ride. But for an E-Class, generally you're gonna always have a, you'd expect a relatively comfortable ride. The E63, unfortunately, the one I had, was still quite a harsh ride. So when I hopped into this and drove it and just noticed how lovely the Airmatic suspension is, then I was blown away how smooth it is. And it really is a great suspension system. And so far this one's been problem free, which I'm really grateful for. And hey, it's worth the money. If it cost me a couple of grand a year, or if you guys bought one, if it cost you a couple of grand a year, I think, hey, on the car, it's money well spent, especially for a car that's so cheap, that depreciates so badly. It's just great car for the money. Why would you go and buy a near new Toyota Camry or Prius or something when you can buy something amazing like this? Now my S600 has what you might know as active body control. So that's a hydraulic suspension system using conventional spring and damper, I believe. But that system, again, is possibly, I'd say, even nicer than the Airmatic. It's only equipped in the S63 and S65 and S600s as standard, and you can opt for it when you buy the S500 and I think the S350s and stuff. But that system again is better. When you go around corners in that car, now this video is not about that car obviously, but when you go around in corners in that car, the car literally does have no body roll. And you can actually corner in it quicker than you can corner in this sort of car in even sport mode, because the car, instead of rolling into when you're going around the corner rolling out, the suspension actually keeps the car flat, so it sort of doesn't roll and sort of lose the weight distribution across the tires, so it really grips well. But nevertheless, this car still handles fantastic. My E63, sure, handled better around corners than this does, but really this isn't far off. And I'd rather have this sort of suspension setup than have a harsh ride and good cornering. Anyway, I'm yapping on. Full seat controls here. You've got the ability to control the mirrors. Obviously when you put the car in reverse, that mirror dips. When you lock the car, these mirrors fold in too. Now you've got your steering wheel controls, obviously. You've got your sunroof up here. You've also got this little light, that sort of ambient light at night. It sort of glows around the edges, which is quite interesting. I haven't seen that before. So the cabin is still slightly lit up at night. It sort of is the old-fashioned version, I guess, of the new modern cars with all the ambient lighting built into the door panels here. So you still have an ambient light in these older models. Now this has just a single sunroof, but I do believe some of the American models have an actual panoramic sunroof, so you've got the rear as well with the little sunroof like my S600 has. Now this is just a manual sort of slide back, close it, and you've obviously got the ability to tilt and pull back the whole sunroof. You've also got rear light control, so I can flick that on there for the rear passengers, and I've also got other buttons I can do as well. I can control other bits and pieces too. Little compartments here, nice little place to put your coins. I thought that's a great idea. You could flick this up here, opens up, look at that stash. And then you've got down here, guys, another little compartment to put bits and pieces in here. God, yeah, that bloody dog barking, wrecking my video. Anyway, now this car, despite being just an E-Class, if I want to say something as rude as that, has actually 4-zone climate control, as you can see here. Whereas my S600, which apparently was 400 grand brand new, at the price of a small house here in New Zealand, doesn't have it. So this is quite a cool, I guess, unique feature as well. But you've got 2 rear zones here for the rear passengers. And the seats in these cars are great. If you're buying a Mercedes, you're always going to get lovely seats. I love these seats have relatively good bolstering. They're not the bolster like the C63, for example, but they are great seats all round. Nothing on the S-Class, unfortunately. The S-Class definitely takes that award, plus many others above this car. But this car, as I've said numerous times up until now, I was possibly contemplating it was the best car I've ever owned. Just all round, price wise, running costs, performance, fun, quality. I've had, in about 10 years, about 12 cars now, most of them Subarus, BMW and Mercedes. Now obviously Mercedes is my favourite #1 brand at the moment, and I'm picking it will be forever really. It's just superior. It's so well built. Like, I've had a BMW 335i, you can watch the video on that from several years ago I made, but really my fiance has a 130i out there, but truly the Mercedes I feel is built to last. The BMWs are great brand new or great a few years old, but after that they start to add up. I've just done a few wheel speed sensors on her car, whereas my Mercedes have never actually had any issues apart from my C63, which just had a few little electronic issues in the seat, but other than that they've been flawless. So if you want a car that's reliable and long lasting, buy a Mercedes. Make sure you get it checked out, buy the facelift model ideally, and buy a mechanical warranty with it. This car has a mechanical warranty, my S-Class doesn't, so I'll be in the creek obviously with that car because that'll be very expensive to fix if I ever have to. But yeah, for the people that say Mercedes and European cars are trash, I beg to differ. I really beg to differ. If you buy the right car and you look after it, it'll look after you, pretty much guaranteed. But anyway, I hope that helps, guys. I hope that gives you a little bit of an overview of these cars. Really solid, fully recommend it. Oh, and another thing, the motor in this car, the M275, that's the V12, the M273, time for a beer. The M273 in this car is awesome. So as I said, it's only a 5.5 litre V8 only, and it's 386 horsepower, I think, 390 horsepower. Now my E63 was 555, I think, 550 horsepower. So this was a big drop, but honestly, this car is so quick. It's really torquey. It's got about 520 newton meters of torque, and honestly, if you use the kick down switch when you depress the accelerator, this car really does everything perfectly. You can overtake, pass anyone easily, effortlessly. It's not in any way underpowered. It's pretty much the perfect amount of power, to be honest. It's just the right amount. If you want to have a bit of fun, kick your foot down, makes a great sound, hauls ass, it's great. The E63 definitely hauled ass a little bit more, but not, to be honest, a lot more. not much difference really at the end of the day. Sure, the gearbox in the E63 was fantastic. The MCT gearbox is definitely way better than these 7G Tronic gearboxes, but the 7-speed in this is nice and smooth. It cruises around. When you use the manual paddle shifters, which I really don't use a lot, it's okay. They're not brilliant, but it does the job. Same with the S-Class. It's got a 5-speed. They couldn't put the 7-speed in it, it would blow it to bits, but that has the 5-speed, and that transmission's very nice. Just like this one's very nice if you're cruising around, but it's definitely not anything sporty. But you can still have fun with it. Anyway, guys, that's Matty231 here. Hope you found that helpful. Sorry for yapping on. If you want me to make any other videos about this car, I'll try and do some maybe driving videos of them too. Then you guys can have a look through. And yeah, cheers for watching.